Tonight on Q2, hoodies for heroes.
Vietnam veterans are visiting the wall and actually touching it and sitting there and eating their lunch.
A Shepherd man is experiencing success and moving forward as he aims to honor and remember Montana's fallen soldiers. Plus,
I'm Alina Howder. We'll tell you how MSU Billings students are celebrating their Hispanic culture coming up.
And keeping you healthy.
The Laurel Clinic is just one more example of our commitment to providing safe, trusted, patient-centered care close to home.
Laurel now has its first ever urgent care. We'll tell you why it's so important to the community. The MTN News starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday night. I'm Russ Riesinger. We first told you about hoodies for heroes last October. One man's mission to build a memorial to honor locals lost in recent wars. Well, since then, the organization has taken off and is closer to their goal than they imagined. Our Kelsey Marison has more.
One Shepherd man is raising money to build a memorial in Montana to honor our fallen Afghanistan and Iraq war heroes through the sale of t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and more.
It's a place for the family members, strangers to come, be able to have a physical location, a tangible piece of metal that they could touch and honor, remember, grieve, cry.
In 2021, Rick Baker was outside of the Yellowstone County Courthouse in Billings when he realized there was nothing honoring Montana's recent fallen veterans. An Afghanistan vet himself, Baker knew how much these memorials mean. He spent time in Washington, D.C. and would frequently visit the Vietnam Veterans Memorial.
Vietnam veterans are visiting the wall and actually touching it and sitting there. That's what we hope to achieve.
So Baker decided he was going to build one right here in Montana to honor those lost during the Afghanistan and Iraq wars. He designed a sweatshirt that listed all of Montana's killed in action names. A year and a half later, Baker says they've almost hit their goal.
We're getting to the point where now we could start doing some visuals. That's my next objective.
The location for the memorial is still undecided, but Baker has a few options in mind. Fellow Treasure State vets can't wait.
I can say that, yeah, I made sacrifices, and that's very true, but they made the ultimate sacrifice. They should be honored so that their family knows that they are appreciated.
Randy Stiles is the VFW post commander in the Billings Heights. Stiles served in Iraq and knows the feeling of loss all too well.
I have a friend, or had a friend, that is on the list from the Army. So that would be a great thing for me to be able to honor Robbie and his family.
The project recently became classified as a nonprofit, launched a website and online store, and started selling at events again after taking a break to catch up with orders. And business is booming.
Sometimes you just got to go for it, and if you don't take a chance on yourself or what you believe in, no one else will.
Baker went for it full force, and it's paying off. In Shepherd, Kelsey Marison, MTN News.
Laurel residents and surrounding communities will no longer have to make the drive to Billings to visit a walk-in clinic or plan ahead for a visit. SCL Health cut the ribbon today on the first walk-in clinic in the area. The clinic has been treating some patients for around 8 weeks for a variety of treatments, but now it's open to everyone. For many patients, the new clinic will be very valuable because it will cut down on travel time.
We are meeting a community need, and we are providing trusted care close to home for the Laurel and surrounding communities.
You don't plan to be sick, you don't plan to be injured, and so the walk-in helps cover that point of access for our community.
The SCL Health Walk-in Clinic provides care 365 days a year and is located near the Laurel Walmart. A Billings man who was caught with 10 pounds of meth in his vehicle and pleaded guilty to meth distribution has been sentenced to 5 years in prison. According to court documents, the government alleged that in January of 2021, an investigation into meth distribution led to 43-year-old Anthony Jacob Johnson as a source of supply. Montana Highway Patrol trooper conducted a traffic stop of Johnson in April of that year and found 10 vacuum-sealed bricks of meth. That night, Johnson broke into the Drug Enforcement Administration's building and got into his seized vehicle to see if agents had located the meth. Johnson admitted he distributed around 80 to 100 pounds of meth in the community over 5 months.
Another day of beautiful fall weather, another day of your beautiful fall pictures to go along with it. Stacy caught that one over on the west end. Michael, how about that great shot with some of the great colors? Now I'm going to ask a lot of you photographers, these photos that you're grabbing over the course of the next several days, save these photos, and then about a week from now, after things start to change out on the Laurel Golf Course, Mark, check it out and let us see how the images have changed after we go through a weekend. Some colder temperatures. We start to see a lot of these leaves begin to fall. Shirley Anderson, how about these beautiful pictures from around Hawthorne Park? And how about this winter from Janie as we take a look around the Mussel Shell? If you have pictures you'd like to share, use our free downloadable app or weather@ktvq.com.
It's a delicious way to celebrate a huge milestone for MSU Billings. The student body has seen a 9% growth within their Hispanic population, and their newly formed Hispanic outreach group is fundraising with treats to share their culture with the city.
Did you make these?
For Jasmine Marquez, her Mexican heritage is a huge part of her identity.
I think it's a big part of me. It definitely represents me.
That's why the Colorado native jumped at the chance to be a part of the growing group.
We try to do as many activities as possible so that our students of Hispanic heritage and Hispanic students see that we care about them.
One of those activities was a Monday bake sale where all goods were of Hispanic origin.
So you have one dulce de leche cupcake left, and dulce de leche is just basically like caramel. And then here we have the buñuelos, but they're also known as sopapillas.
Jasmine made polvorones, or Mexican wedding cookies.
It's pretty much a butter pastry, and you put a little bit of flour. I'm doing gluten-free just so there's a variety.
The recipe was passed down to Jasmine from her great-grandparents.
It's an easy and accessible way to kind of, what does this mean to you, and what are these flavors and how do they come to be in your culture?
That cultural knowledge is more accessible than ever as the Treasure State grows more diverse by the day.
We have doubled our population of Hispanic individuals in Montana, and that corresponds really nicely with what we're seeing here at MSUB as well.
All the money raised through the bake sale is going towards events that the Hispanic Outreach Group are throwing, like their inaugural Day of the Dead celebration.
It's a lovely way to celebrate our beloved departed. And so we'll be doing that on November 5th.
The celebration will be held downtown, and for Jasmine, it's another way to share and celebrate a piece of her home.
I think this would be a great way to promote it and kind of allow people to know there's like more out there too.
In Billings, Alina Howder, MTN News.
Election Day is just 3 weeks away, and abortion has galvanized voters across the country. But whether or not that issue is a determining factor in which party controls Congress remains to be seen.
If you care about the right to choose, then you got to vote.
Speaking at a Democratic National Committee event, the president says if Democrats hold Congress, the first bill he'll send to Congress is one to make Roe v. Wade the law of the land. However, that would require a 60-seat majority or changing filibuster rules. The latest CBS News polling estimates the Senate is still a toss-up. Advocates on both sides of the issue are pouring time and money into that debate, but many say it's not the only issue on their mind. A new CBS poll shows among likely voters, abortion trails far behind other issues such as the economy and inflation. 80% of registered voters told the Associated Press they'll be voting in next month's midterms. The AP poll found many Republicans and Democrats are dissatisfied with the way things are currently going in the country, and many think the outcome of the upcoming midterm election will have a significant impact on the future. In some states, absentee ballot requests have already surpassed 2018 numbers. Here in Montana, those ballots were mailed out last week. Election Day coming up on November 8th. Duck hunting season has officially kicked off in Montana. That's always a very special time for one Billings man, but it's not in the way you might think. Our Charlie Kleps has the story.
I'm standing on the 10 acres owned by Fly Creek Kennels, a business that works to help prepare dogs for hunting season. And now that the season is officially upon us, owner Marty Golden is starting to see all of his hard work pay off.
The thing that I love most about that, Charlie, is when people call me or send me pictures during the season. That's when it all comes to fruition.
Golden has been training hunting dogs since 2003, and it's a process that he always tries to make as realistic as possible.
Yeah. And for some reason, it just never gets old watching them jump in the water.
He trains about 10 to 15 dogs each year over a 14-week span completely on his own. He'll put them through drills on land and in water. On this October day, he showed us a blind retrieve, one where the dog doesn't see the bird get shot, but trusts her handler to lead her to it.
So you can see she's slightly off to the left of it. So I'm going to stop her. Back! Try to get her back in line with it. Lots of hollering. Good girl! There you go!
It's a success this time, but the dogs are not always perfect.
No, here. Here. No, here.
After nearly 20 years of training dogs, Golden says the relationships formed are what mean the most, like this one with Travis Waldhauser.
You create great friends. You create a friend through these dogs, and friendships will last a lifetime.
Which is why we do it, right? We want to go out, we want to hunt, we want to relax, we want to hang out with our friends, we want to be with our dogs, but we don't want them to be a nuisance. You know, you always want to come home with the dog.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
Still ahead on the MTN 10 o'clock news here on Q2, a man of many talents. We remember the life of longtime Billings resident and the founder of the Montana Television Network, Joe Sample. And in sports, a former Billings Central basketball standout bringing his talents back to the Treasure State. We'll tell you who it is and where he's headed in just a bit.
The MTN 10 o'clock news continues right after this.